Hello,
I'm
everyone.
around some Asian guys.
Yay. Welcome back to Obra Dinn. I don't know what else you wanted me to say there, man. Like,
well, I'm glad you said something positive.
Yeah, I mean...
God forbid you went boo.
I was like,
that would
oh,
have been...
no.
That would have been a poor way to start.
Yeah. That reminds... by the way, I'm Brendan. That's Connor. Connor's playing. Welcome to Obra Dinn. That reminds me of when my friend went to college. He came back, and this was because we had all left for college, and he was hanging out with like a group of friends from our hometown. And he was just like talking about some of the friends, like they were all like talking about the people they had met at college, right? And he was talking about some of his new friends, and he was like, oh yeah, and then of course I've got my gay friends, and this one girl from high school was like, ugh, how did that happen? And he was like,
what?
I don't know what you want me to say here, man. Like, the weirdest thing. I don't know, just like a weird homophobic response for no reason.
What do you mean? How did they become gay?
How did we be?
How did that happen?
That's a better interpretation of it than what I thought.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say to that?
I don't know, man. I think they were just like that.
Yeah, I born that way. I don't know.
Just met them in my
I don't know their life.
Ecom class. Like, what do you want me to say?
How did that happen?
I swear to God, I met like the weirdest people in my gen eds when I was at school. I don't know if you had this experience too, but like any like mixing of the majors was like, it was always a toss up, especially at our school. Because in my, you're required to take a lot of these gen eds and stuff, and I had to take like, I don't even remember what it was. It was some like required writing course, and the guy that like sat next to me was like, I can't remember. Well, no, I know what his actual name was. Let's call him Vince. Vince sat next to me, and he was a weird guy, and like we talked a couple times, and I was just like, okay, like you're kind of strange, but you sit next to me in this class. And then one day, like I look over at his computer, and he's on like these like basically like these conspiracy like forums for like far right dudes and stuff like that. And, is like just looking at some like very, heinous shit, right? Uh-huh. And so I was like, oh, like, you're like, that's weird. It's weird that you're at this college and you're doing this. But he, like, I didn't think much of it. And so a couple months later, like maybe a year later, I get a text from one of my buddies in high school that was like, hey, do you know this guy at your school named Vince? And I was like, oh yeah, like, and I jokingly was like, oh yeah, Vince, like I'm pretty sure he's like a Nazi conspiracy theorist or something.
Oh,
and
no.
I get a text back from my buddy that's like, you shouldn't call people that, like that's not okay, like you shouldn't do that. And I was like this friend would never fucking say something like that. And I was just like, whoa dude, like it's just joking, man. Like, I mean, I don't know what he was about. I'm like, sorry, I didn't know what the deal was. Come to find out, like, and I don't hear back from him after that. And so I was like, geez, I must have like really pissed him off. I don't know like what his problem is. Like, I mean, like for all intents and purposes, like I wasn't lying, like that this guy was on those forums, like, browsing them regularly. So I assumed that was kind of what he was all about. But like, come to find out a couple months later, like we're hanging out back in my hometown, and he's like, oh yeah, you remember that whole thing about Vince? And I was like, yeah, dude, what the hell was that about? And he was like, well, he's my girlfriend's cousin, And she took my phone when you sent that and replied to that like that.
Oh my god.
And I was like, ooh, that's not good. I never met that guy's that girlfriend of that friend. But
Oh,
they broke up.
jeez.
They broke up a little while after that. So it was really weird. That I was just
Also,
like,
what the fuck? Who? If somebody said that about my cousin, I would be so like, I don't care
yeah, whatever, man.
because they're my cousin. Like they're not my immediate relative.
It's not like
They're
it's your
not like
brother or something.
they're not my sibling. They're my cousin.
Yeah, like if I found out that one of my cousins was like doing stuff like that, I would be like, oh, weird, whatever. You know, I wouldn't get all fucking defensive about it. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking from hometown type people, maybe their blood is thicker than water type
Right.
mindset has something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah,
Sure.
it was weird. What a small world and a weird coincidence.
There's a guy, one of my buddies. I'm sure I don't know if I've talked about him on the channel, but my friend Christian, he got contacted by a kid that he knew in high school recently, and hold on. He was clubbed by an unknown attacker. He got somebody from high school got in touch with him,
Okay.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, good to talk to you. Like it's been a while." It was through like Facebook Messenger or something.
Yeah.
And
Classic.
yeah, and the guy after a couple back and forths, he goes. He starts going like full Nazi on him,
Oh no.
like asking him to join like the fucking movement or whatever they're fucking doing, and
Oh,
he's
God.
like, "Hey, can I talk to you about the ideals and the beliefs of our thing?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" And he's
Fucking
like,
proselytizing
"No."
now? What the hell?
He's like, "No, I don't want to. No, I like. Why did you contact me just to do this?" And yeah, and that was I thought that was just insane. Like he stopped responding to him after a certain number of times because the guy would not fucking give up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing about they're becoming increasingly bold.
Yeah, which we
I-
need to all. I mean, in case you haven't heard, we need to put a stop to that.
Yeah, just like I mean, first of all, bring back shame. Like, for God's
Yeah,
sake,
bring
like
back
you're
shame.
really you're just like out in public like spewing this shit. But I don't know. Have I told the story on the show about my one friend who like came back from his like Christian missionary trip, and like I can't. I'll tell it again, just in this episode. Even if I have. So I had this one friend in high school. His name, let's call him Rick. Rick was a Christian in high school. You know, but he was still part of our friend group. Like, you know, we like, you know, he wasn't like super, I don't know, like radical or anything like that. And so instead of we first went to like college, you know, back in 2018 or something. And so instead of doing his like freshman year of college, he went on like was essentially like a Christian missionary trip, but it was like two like I can't remember exactly where it was. It was one of the like, you know, islands in like South America type region or like the Caribbean area, right? So like not like, I mean, I don't know exactly what he did there, but it was like very much like, you know, oh, like the Christian kids are going there to feel good about themselves, right? Like you know the type where it's like, I went on a missions trip, and it's like, oh, you stayed in a resort for like a year and fucking like went out and took some photos with the like locals who were starving. That kind of deal. But he comes back.
We took pictures with all of them.
We took pictures of all of them and didn't do anything. He comes back, and so like, you know, my friend group from high school, like we always had hangouts at my place. My place was like the spot for hangouts, and Floyd was there from the Twisted Bug Media Network too. But so I planned to get together when we all got back from our like first semester of college, because I was like, you know, we haven't seen each other since we've all been away in our different places. Like, it'd be great to like get the gang back together. And I was like, everyone come over at like 7 or whatever I said, because we were home on break. And so I'm like setting up. Rick gets there at 6. Rick comes in. I'm like, hey, Rick, like, it's good to see you, man. Like, it's been a while. And Rick's like, dude, you know, like it's been so good to see you too. And already I can tell something is different about Rick. Rick, like, you know, we head down to the basement, like where, you know, I've got like the food and whatever set up. And Rick sits down in this chair and is just like sitting there kind of looking around. And Rick goes on, like, I was just like, well, so like, what have you been doing, man? Like, I know you've like been like abroad and stuff. Like, how's that been? And he starts like telling me details about this trip. And at some point, like, you know, he starts just getting into like Bible verses and like the things that he's learned. And he's like, hey, like, do you have a Bible? And I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, man, I have a Bible. Like, you know, we're at my fucking parents' house. Like, they have a Bible somewhere here. And he was like, can you bring it to me? And I was like, all right, man, sure. So I went and got him this Bible, and he sits there, and he's like, I have some passages I'd really love for you to read and reflect on. And I was like, what? And so he sits there for the better part of an hour while other people like are like, I'm waiting for everyone else to fucking show up. Because again, he got there an hour early to do this, and just like, he's not speaking. He is just like face down, like nose in this Bible, like flipping to different passages and like dog-earing the pages, which, like, first of all, didn't fucking ask me if he could dog-ear the pages. Not cool. But like, he's just going through,
Don't
like, finding all these
fold up
passages.
my Bible.
Just folding on my Bible. And so like, he like, eventually, like, other people start to get there. They see him in this state, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? He hangs out, like, doesn't say much, you know, leaves the Bible for me, and, like, you know, has, like, a couple of interjections just about, like, the Lord and stuff like that island. But, like, he had completely changed. Like, he was a completely different person. And
that's unfortunate.
He was, like, you know, fucking trying to, like, I don't even know what he was trying to do. Because, like, here's the other thing, is that he's showing me all of these, like, you know, Bible passages that he's dog-earing. Brother, I was a Sunday school teacher when I was a kid. I know the Bible. Like, I think people forget this because, like, I'm not, like, really, like, practicing religious anymore. You know, like, I don't really...
You've mastered it.
Yeah, I've mastered it. I don't need to do it anymore.
You don't no need to practice anymore. You got it.
But it was like, it was weird because it was like, he was like trying to, like, I don't even know what he was trying to do. He was like, because convert me isn't the right word, because, like, I was, you know, raised Christian. And so, like, I already know that stuff. Like, I don't know if he was trying to get me to come back to the church or, like, whatever. But, like, we were also raised in different sects of Christianity. And so it was very strange. And, like, one of the weird, and, like, you know, we all kind of agreed, we were like, maybe we don't hang out with Rick anymore. Cause yeah, I mean, and then, like, I would hear from him every once in a while, and he'd be like, I'll pray for you. And I was like, what? Why do I need to be prayed for? Like, what am I doing that you think is so, like, egregious and sinful that you need to pray for me. Like, you're the one who, I don't know. It was weird. Like, it was just a very strange situation. Maybe someone in the comments can, elucidate and help me to understand what he was trying to do. But a very, very odd situation. That's my Rick story.
That is, yeah. You didn't tell that on here.
Yeah.
But that's the religion is a scary place, and people sometimes can't find their way out of it.
That is certainly true. Yeah,
Speaking of can't find my way out of it, I am fucking lost.
Oh no! That's not good.
Dude, I keep thinking that I'll get, like, something right, but it's like, there's just so... I don't know what I'm missing. I'm just trying all these names because I feel like I got enough right, and I just need the names or, like, how they died, but it seems... Some of it seems pretty straightforward, others are not. That guy's definitely crushed by falling cargo, but I don't know who he is. So, is he a seaman? If he's hanging out back here, he's got to be a seaman.
Dude, as we all know, seaman always hangs out at the back.
There's got to be some of these guys. You got to use a little prejudice too when it comes to this game. I feel like looking at this guy, you'd say he's like Indian or Persian or something. He wouldn't be. I mean, he's not Chinese. He's not English.
Yeah.
But in that case, I still don't know who the fuck he is.
Huh.
And I like that part of this game is like when you listen back to the dialogue or whatever, they play it again.
Yeah.
You can see that people are speaking different languages, and that also helps you figure out who they are.
Yeah.
This guy was spiked by the big thing. But he doesn't even talk in this part. He says, "Heave, run, what is it? Bloody devil, another one over there."
I remember that
but
sequence.
It's not Lewis Walker.
It's Lewis Runner.
Oh, he's so fast.
Dude, he's so fucking speedy. He's gonna win an Olympic gold medal.
Scotland, we got two other guys who are Chinese topmen, which I feel shouldn't be too difficult to discern.
They're top
This
Chinese
guy's
men.
the butcher. Who's this? This guy looks like he would be friends with the butcher, but I don't think the butcher has like a side guy.
Yeah, their names are the baker and the candlestick maker.
Never heard of him.
Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub.
I only know the Muffin Man.
Well, who do you think they'd be?
Oh my god. How long has it been in the episode?
You have one
I can't
more
check.
minute.
No!
1 minute left, Connor.
I haven't done a thing.
Oh boy. Well, that's fine. This was just a
I
fun,
feel so bad.
fun story episode.
This guy had to have been crushed by a cannon. Why is it not the third mate? Oh, why is it not the third mate's steward? Okay. Look.
Would you mate with him
Dead
3
guys.
times? I didn't
Look.
think so.
Look at this. Let's go to the front. Let's go to this friggin' map at the front of the whole thing. And okay. So we got all these guys are seamen. So we got a seaman. This guy should be a seaman. And this guy's got to be a seaman. So this guy's got to be a seaman. Gimme a seaman. Oh boy, George. Let's call you George. I don't know how you died because you disappeared during the calling. Okay. Why is this not the fourth mate? He's got the hat. That guy's the third mate. He's got the hat. And if that guy's the third mate, wouldn't you expect his steward to be right next to him? And them holding hands?
You would.
This guy's the surgeon. I just saw him. I am guessing that he's alive on the Canary Islands. He might be alive on Cape Verde. He might be alive on the Azores. Might be alive in Africa.
Yeah.
Yes!
What a way to end the episode.
No way.
Nicely
and it was
done.
because I guessed where he was alive.
Oof. Good job.
Wow. Big.
Nicely done.
Yes, baby.
Nicely done, yeah.
Nicely done, yeah. All right.
Wow.
I'm closing that book.
Close that
and
book.
We're gonna come back next time.
All right. Well, thanks.
We got 3 more.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, punch the bell. We'll catch you on the flippy dip. Good night,
Don't
YouTube.
forget to take a little dip in the water like this guy.
Exactly. Go for a swim. Bye-bye.
Jump in.